chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man. Choices, chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another episode on Huda TV of your show, Life Choices. Inshallah, every week we're trying to bring you an episode about things that affect you in life, the choices you make, setting goals and objectives, time management, your emotional intelligence, or even social intelligence. Last week we brought you an episode on social intelligence, and this week we're going to try and continue it because it's a big topic, and it's very important. So, be a sociable person. What does that mean? What does that entail? Inshallah, we're going to spend today's episode looking into that to find out more. Of course, we're joined with brother Adam. Adam, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you so much for joining.
My pleasure.
And brother Abdurrahman, who's filling in for Zakir today again. Brother Abdurrahman, welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And of course, brother Kareem.
Assalamu alaikum.
Kareem, it's always a pleasure.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so let's get started. So, be a sociable person. That's our topic for today. Be sociable. Adam, what do you got to say on that? What does being sociable to you mean?
Yeah.
First of all,
I understood the question. I think being sociable is someone who can get along with all different types, all different groups of people, all different classes, and treat all of them with equity and be the same genuine person in every relationship.
Okay, very good point, yeah.
Me, it reminds me of an ayah in Quran, Surah Al-Hujurat. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا. Litaraf is being social, as in to getting to know each other. The more you know each other, the more you have connections to people, the more you expand your friendship with other people.
Your network.
Your network, exactly. The more you have more network, the more you have information, the more you have. There is benefits for every network in the world. So the more you have friends, the more you have the more benefits you have.
Of course, you're not talking about Facebook friends.
No.
Okay, I think these days a lot of people are competing for Facebook friends.
A million.
Yeah, and people just start adding anyone, whoever. Are they really a friend if you don't know them?
Oh, exactly.
Kareem won this race.
That's what we talk about. Friends. The Facebook friends are electronic friends. We're talking about real human flesh friends, real life.
So we're talking about real life friends that you see and meet in life, not Facebook, not your Twitter buddies. That's very interesting. And
actually, social intelligence was very important for people to understand the core of life. Because as I want to repeat what brother Abdurrahman said about شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا. So being social and knowing each other started to transfer here. Its value started to transfer from being a normal value into an important value, into a great value in life.
Okay.
That knowing each other, having a network together, is a core thing for us, especially as Muslims, because we have what the Prophet said, or in the meaning of what he said, that we have to be like a building. The Muslim to the Muslim is like a building. It's stretching each other. They are taking the well of each other. They are supporting each other. So it's a core thing for us to know that we must deal as a society. God, when He used to talk to us in Quran, He used to talk us as a society. قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, right? He started to talk for us as a group. So this group must be connected to be able to have the meaning of ummah. So being social now started to be a real value in your life, and it started to be a concept.
Or it should be anyway.
Should be, yeah right. So if it started to be a concept, you have a barrier here. that not all the situations fits you. What I mean is, for example, I'm dealing with people, but I will never like everyone. I will not be able to deal with everyone. How I can deal with someone who has a problem, how I can deal with someone who talks in a way that I don't like. I don't mean that it is a wrong way. It is a right way, but I don't like it. How are you going to deal with your kids, how you are going to deal with your wife, how you are going to deal with your sister. There is a lot of ways and a lot of relations in your life that you need to focus how to deal with. But I would like to separate this relations into different things. We have two main kinds of relations. We have relations that we are responsible for. We have relations that we are not responsible for. What I mean by responsibility here, I mean the choice. We have relations that have no choice.
Okay, so for example, the relationship with your family members, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, aunties, etc. This is a relationship by no choice.
Yeah.
You're born into this family, so this family is a part of your social group.
Exactly.
Whereas the people who you threatened outside of work, outside of your family, these are people who you have a choice of being sociable with.
Yeah.
So
I chose them.
this is the one you choose.
Yes. So look for the wisdom of God. When He put most of the benefits and most of the thawab on the relation that you didn't choose. Why? To see how much you can control your social intelligence.
Can you elaborate on that? I didn't understand.
For example, the most important person to make him happy with you and to give him what he wants, whatever it was, who are those persons?
The most important person, your parents, of course.
Your parents, right?
Then it lies at your mother's feet.
Yeah. So the thawab mainly depends on your parents. The less thawab on your friends. So if we are going in a situation that you have to do what your mother said or your friend said.
Oh, of course, that's a no-brainer. You go with what your mother said, or you should go. But how many of us have have disobeyed our parents? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure. So this is this is what, because they didn't get one behind. God wants to give you the best price for the things that you didn't choose, to show Him the real accepting for His orders, how you are going to obey. I will give you the thawab on the things that you didn't choose.
Okay,
show me your social intelligence.
You mean doing a sin? I mean, we know that if a Muslim does a good deed, he gets rewarded so many times. I can't remember how many. Whereas if a person does a bad deed, they only get one sayyah for it.
Exactly.
Whereas if they abstain from doing the bad deed, they get a hasanah for it.
Exactly.
And if they had intended to do a good deed but didn't do it, they also get rewarded for it.
Exactly.
So if you're saying the choice was to do a sin but you abstain from it, then yes, you do get rewarded for it. Is this what you're trying to say?
What I mean is, the things that you didn't choose is the thing that you will give you more thawab. So all what you need is to learn.
He's saying like you didn't choose your parents.
Yeah, you didn't choose your parents. So this is why you have to get more thawab from out of your parents. So that's why you need more difficulty in social intelligence. So you get the challenge of learning. I'm talking about the core of social intelligence. Why we are learning social intelligence? Because most of the thawab and most of the good things are the things that you didn't choose. So you have to learn how to cope.
Oh, okay. Now I get it.
Welcome.
Okay, no,
welcome back.
I was hearing you from a different angle completely. I thought you were trying to say...
I understood your point of view.
Yeah, I'm saying if you didn't choose something, that's what you're getting rewarded for. But you're saying is the things we missed out on. The things that we missed out on, such as, our friend said, okay, let's go out to dinner, for example, and your mum said, no, don't go. You listen to your friend.
Right.
Whereas if you listen to your mum, there was more reward than that.
Yes.
And of course, by disobeying her, you've also got sins now.
Now I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. I got him from.
Okay,
from like
got him from me. Okay, alhamdulillah. I hope all the viewers got that as well. Just a misunderstanding.
It's somehow difficult, but at the same time, this is the core of social intelligence. That's why we need social intelligence. Because when you learn this, you will learn how to deal with everyone.
So we need to be socially, we need to be socially
from like a scientific standpoint, we have mirror neurons. This is our ability to understand others through our mirror neurons.
Okay, please explain, because I'm no way a scientist. So.
Mirror neurons, so basically imitating, like
Okay.
imitation is the biggest form of flattery. Kids, they'll imitate you with
Yes.
their mirror neurons. This is how they learn, through the mirror neurons.
Yes, okay.
So what I'm saying is, like, you can you see yourself in one way, other people see you in one way, and you can see yourself through other people, what they do.
Mhm.
You can learn about yourself through what other people do. This is what I mean by mirror neurons.
Okay.
We can learn a lot about ourselves through others.
We are all mirrors to each other. We are all mirrors.
But it's I like the way you mentioned about kids, because I see that a lot. The kids, they always want to imitate
Yes.
what you do. Unfortunately, these days the kids are trying to imitate,
What's on
pop
TV?
singers, the rap stars, football players, all the wrong people. Unfortunately, they don't want to imitate. And the problem is, I guess, there's no good role models out there. You know what I mean? Like if you look in the public atmosphere, I mean, in media and stuff, there's really no one for kids to want to look up to. Unfortunately, and I guess that's the gap as an Islamic Ummah. We're not filling in. We're not giving these kids people to look up to. So the only people they can look up to is in the immediate family.
Yeah.
So you have to be really careful when you're around kids with what they see you do, you know what I mean? Especially your own children and little brothers and sisters, because they're going to imitate that straight up. So that's it's a good point you brought up there.
Yeah, it's all about growing up or how you are going to raise your children. So if they learn from the beginning that sometimes they don't accept people, because social intelligence, and this is a core of the social intelligence, social intelligence always starts with accepting. That you have to know, as we said in the last episode, that it's all about your perception to the situation. It's about how I'm going to see the situation. To be able to accept it.
Perception is reality.
Exactly. So to be able to deal with it through your own acceptance and capabilities. Otherwise, if you refuse the situation, you will kill yourself by dealing with this situation. You will do it with pressure and distressed, and you will do it in a very bad mood, and that is tough. So that's why we said, when we were talking about this in the last episode, we started to say, you have to care about everything you say to your children or you act in front of them.
Yeah.
That's why maybe they are not intelligent in dealing with people, but they are intelligent in something else.
Yeah.
But the most thing in all intelligence styles, that all of them are able to increase.
Exactly.
This is the main thing. We have main kinds of intelligence. We can collect them in a word. There is a psychologist called Carl Albrecht, something like this, but I'm sure of Carl. Carl put a name for collecting the name of the intelligence. It's named Aspik. A-S-P-E-A-K. Aspik. Okay? Aspik is talking about the kinds of intelligence. He said that we have about A-S-P-E-A-K, six kind of intelligence. They are the core of intelligence. The first one is abstract intelligence. Abstract intelligence is about mathematics and language flexibility and numbers and that stuff.
Of course, Carl's, if that's his name, Carl's theory is not the only one. I mean, I've heard of 7 types of intelligence. I've heard 8 and even 9.
Yeah.
So I guess depending on the psychologist.
Yeah, it depends on, some people add things, some people remove things, but these are the core 6.
Like last episode I was talking about how, someone might not be smart at, solving logical problems and, IQ tests.
Yes.
But they might be good at drawing, for example.
Yes.
This puts them in another category of intelligence.
Exactly.
Or they might be good at, writing and, jotting down their thoughts. I mean, these are probably the teachers and, engineers, whatever it may be. So, sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, true. What you are saying is true. For example, what you said now about drawing is what we call it atheistic intelligence.
I guess my main point is that it's not necessarily limited to 6 categories.
Yeah, it's not limited, definitely, but I mean, the core of them are 6. One of them is the emotional intelligence. One of them is the practical intelligence. It's about problem solving and that stuff. So we have a lot of kinds of intelligence. So you have to know through these kinds a very important thing. What's my strength point and what's my weakness? My strength point, I will start to deal with it everywhere. Because perceiving or having or understanding that I have this intelligence will support me to deal with it better.
Right.
Some people, they have the skill, by the way, but they don't recognize it. So when they deal with something, they are boring. They cannot control it well.
Yeah.
Because they feel that this is the negative self-talk that we talked about before. He's telling himself that I don't have this skill, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. So he's getting himself down. Well, he can. It's easy. Okay? So what you need is to focus. What's your strength to deal with it, and what's your weakness?
And then focus on your weakness, because that's what's really lacking. And the reason why it's a weakness is because you're not using it every day.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like working out a muscle, for example. You know, when you first start out, it's you're not going to be able to lift much.
Yeah.
You might have, you're weak. Well,
Yes.
of course, because you're not training every day. Whereas if you train every day,
Yes.
eventually you're going to be able to lift more.
Okay, so let me get this straight. What we're talking about is a must. The main point is a must being a must. You have to be a sociable person. So that's what what we're talking about. For.
One of the
Yes.
most important intelligence.
Because right now, what I think sometimes, if we see like right now someone who wants to represent the da'wah, a da'iyah, if he says every time I'm going to be a da'iyah when I grow up, he studies Islamic studies and everything, but he stays in his house and is not socializing with the other people. What's the use? Because da'iyah is supposed to, a da'iyah is someone who's is like a magnet, bringing people to Islam and da'wah. So
Dealing
at
with
least he has to
people.
know about the society, know the problems of people.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. How to talk with them, how to deal with them.
And as if he was with them, he understands them.
Yes.
That's if we're talking about sociable. That's if you're going to be a da'iyah, you have to be a sociable. That's a must too.
Yeah, a good point. I think in anything that we do in life, we need to have that social intelligence. We need to be social, because we can learn so much by interacting with other people and other cultures, especially. I mean, back in Australia, we have a very multicultural society. I mean, we've got people from all around the world. I guess Egypt is very multicultural as well. I mean, I've met nationalities here that I never met back in Australia. But the point is that you learn through interacting with people, different cultures, and you learn how to deal with different people, because subhanallah, different cultures have different ways of doing things. You know what I mean? And when I first came to Egypt, it was a bit of a culture shock to me. Not from the Egyptians, but from the other nationalities. The foreigners, their ways of doing things, their ways of interacting with people, whether it be their manners, whether it be their generosity. So by dealing with different people, that gave me, I think,
Experience in how
it
dealing
gave
with
me
them.
experience in how to deal, and I think it made me a better person, and it made my life a lot easier, because I know how to deal with people now a lot better, and I learned a lot of positives from different nationalities, different ethnicities, and took that to try and make me into a better person. That's how I can relate to it personally.
That's why, adding on what you said, the people of the coast who lives behind the ocean, on the sea, they are most social and easy to build relationships.
The people on the sea.
More than the others. Why? Because they have the ability to meet a lot of cultures.
Yeah.
They have the sea, people come by and sell and do some business and that stuff. So they have ability to make good relations easier than anyone else.
Yeah, of course, because it's a setting they're used to, and they're getting they're training that that so-called muscle, that social intelligence.
Yes. Yes, they
definitely,
have they have the ability to use it a lot, because as you said, it's all about it's a skill. And by the way, some people mix the social intelligence is not a part of personality. It's a part of the multi types of intelligence. It's a skill that you can add it, not a part of what you are doing as a style. Maybe your style in life, in your behavior, can affect your social intelligence, but it's not a part of it. Okay, this is a very important thing.
So can a social intelligence be already in a person, or can we gain it?
In all cases, we have to say now a main rule for the skill, for any skill. Some people, when they born with the skill.
Okay.
Okay? For example, some people, they are leaders by nature. But the normal thing that any skill can be absorbed.
So the first skill is what? Sorry.
Is social.
Okay. Well, I thought you were talking about
The first skill, I was giving example with leadership.
Okay.
Any skill can be absorbed. I can learn any skill. But at the same time, some people born with it,
Natural talent.
naturally.
Okay.
Like leadership, there is people leaded by nature. I have a brother like this, one of my brothers, a leader. Really, he must lead all his friends. I don't know why they are following him, but he's a leader. When he says something, nobody can say no. I don't know why.
SubhanAllah. Inshallah, we'll try to talk more about this as soon as we come back from this very short break, so please don't go anywhere.
If I think I lost my ablution, but I'm not sure, do I have to make wudu again? Is it allowed for Muslims to visit the graveyard, or is that shirk? Am I allowed to say Jummah Mubarak to someone? Can I get to know a sister before marriage? I have so many questions, and I feel that I've just reached a dead end. If only I could find someone trustworthy to answer my questions. Someone who speaks based on proof from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Life Choices. Before the break, we were talking about social intelligence. Almost forgot there. Inshallah, we're going to go to a report and we're going to see how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and through his wisdom, helped a Sahabi with one of his questions. So just keep watching.
Another very touching incident was that at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, there was a slave that he had freed. The slave's name was Thawban radiyallahu anhu. Thawban was so happy that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam had freed him. Whenever he used to look at Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he used to get so happy. It used to bring joy to him, and he used to always try and go and see Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam a few times in the day. Just by looking at him, he would arrive at a different spiritual level. He would forget all his issues and difficulties. And one day he hadn't seen Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So when he met him later on, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam noticed that Thawban radiallahu anhu's face was very, very red, and he was looking very sad. So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked him, Ya Thawban, what is wrong? What is wrong with you? Today you are looking so sad. Today you are looking very, very unhappy. What is it? He says, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, do you know that I love you so much? I need to look at you on a daily basis. And when I look at you, I get so much joy and happiness. I need to see you. You don't know what it does to me. Ya Rasulullah, I was so happy to have come to see you now. But what had happened is when I didn't see you, I thought of death. And I thought of the akhirah. And I thought to myself that when you will go into the akhirah, you will be taken by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only into Jannah, but into the highest ranks of Jannah. You are going to join all the other Anbiya alayhimu salatu wassalam, and the martyrs, and those who are pious, and with me, I will never ever see you again. I will never see you again, because if I enter Jannah, I am going to be in another rank or on another stage altogether. And what will happen to me? and most probably I won't even enter Jannah. And if that is the case, I will never ever see you again. Wallahi, no sooner had this comment been made than Jibreel alayhi salatu wassalam came down and revealed verses. وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ فَأُولَئِكَ مع الذين أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoever follows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they will be granted the companionship of Muhammad in the akhirah, in Jannah, subhanallah.
Subhanallah, you know, it's I enjoyed that video very much. I guess one of the ways we can see where, you know, social intelligence has a role is, as we see in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, is when he noticed there was something wrong with the Sahabi. And that's from a part of being intelligent, so socially intelligent, is that you can pick up on other people's emotions. You know when people are down, you know when they're up. And I think, you know, mashallah, that was a very beautiful.
It makes me think of like the believer when he lives his life. He's wanted like by people, like people want to be around the believer. And when the believer leaves this life, people are saddened.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's.
Yeah. Actually, the video was very strong.
Yeah, definitely.
It showed a very, very, very high social skills. That, first of all, look for what behind the conversation. Look for the love and the concept behind. How this man was in real love with the Prophet. He wants to see the Prophet. He cannot imagine that there is a day that will come and he will not see him. So this is the real love. First of all, this is the real love. And look for the reply. Look how the Prophet gets used of this love, how he started to make the God use out of this amazing feelings to make him work, to make him perform, and to do the best. When he told him that وَمَنْ يُطِعْ, it's all about ta'ah.
I mean, Allah revealed the verses through Jibreel alayhi salam to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The ayah, وَمَنْ يُطِعْ اللَّهَ.
Exactly. So it's about that you have to do all what you have to do. If you want to be with me, all what you have to do is to obey, is to accept, is to do what Allah asked you to do. So he get the best out of the guy by his social skills. It's the style of the Prophet in every situation.
And that applies to everyone, not just that Sahabi. I mean, we can all learn. We all learn from that hadith, and you know, we can all implement what the Prophet ﷺ, you know, advised us. And I think one of the very common thing that's always brought up episode by episode is everything we discuss, we can link it back to the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Yes.
Every single thing, you will find that the Prophet ﷺ excelled to the top. I mean, so at the end of the day, Prophet, peace be upon him, is our qudwa. He's our role model in everything. And you know, subhanAllah, it just amazes me. Every single thing that we talk about, we can relate it to something from the Sunnah. It's amazing.
Yes, he's always having a solution for people. He's always learning or giving lessons to people and teaching them what to do. When you look for the Prophet, for example, from the things that amazed me in his social skills, look for how he dealt with Sayyidina Umar, with Umar ibn al-Khattab, when he came to the house to say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. He dealt him with power, with the same concept that Umar can understand. So when he pulled his clothes like this, and when he dealt with him with this strength, he is talking the same language. That's it. When you look at this deeply, you find this is the best way to deal with Umar.
I think correct me if I'm wrong, there's a hadith about that. It's about talk to the people as if you're on their level. خاطب الناس
خاطب الناس على قدر عقولهم. I don't know about the truth of hadith, but at the end of the day, the word is right. The word itself is right. What behind the word is right. That you have to talk to people with the limit that they can understand.
Mm.
For example, if I'm very intelligent, I'm talking to people with the same level of my intelligence.
I just remembered, it's not a hadith.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a hadith. No.
So if I'm talking to people through this maximum intelligence that I have, nobody will understand me. That's one of the philosophers. He's a Chinese or something like this. He was talking about mindsets, and he said a very amazing wisdom. He said, remember that as long as you are genius, as long as you are becoming crazy. Yes, in front of the people, what they will see, that this man, he's genius. Yeah, he's genius. He's not here. Why? As long as you make it complicated, as long as you lose people, as long as you make it simple, you make it easy for people. If I asked you, Adam, for example, which teacher was better for you? The one who was talking about the core of science and the complex science, or the one who can make the hard info a piece of cake? Which is better?
Maybe he learned.
Students.
Maybe he learned from both.
Yeah, the hard info to make that easy is definitely a good teacher, because he could make that science easy.
Yes, because for us, I cannot understand it. So the best for me is to make it easy for me, to be able to understand it.
Where I guess the other teacher would be better suited for people with an understanding of science. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? And it's an important point we've got to remember throughout our social interactions in life when we're talking to people, to talk to them, according to the degree of knowledge. I mean, if you don't talk to a child like he's some, like he's an adult. You don't talk to him like he's an adult. You talk to him as a child, but yet don't be condescending to him just because you're old. You
are not underestimating him. You are
Don't
not
reject
underestimating
him.
him. Sorry?
Don't reject him, he means.
Yes, definitely, I cannot reject him. But at the same time, I'm giving the people the much amount that they can bear. And that's one of the tools that we measure social intelligence through it. Social intelligence, we can measure it through 3 main aspects. The first one is the social skills, something called social skills. The second thing is the self-insight. The third thing is the interaction style. Those are the cores of social intelligence. The social skills. Social skills, always some people put it in a phrase called space. Space. Space like what? Like the situation. This is the social skills. How you understand the situation. How you deal with it in a practical way. Professionally.
Okay.
Authority. How you have, what we can say, honesty. Credibility, how you can deal with it, how you can understand it and take actions, how you can be welcoming to the situation. This is the core things of the social skills. The second thing is the self-insight. You yourself, how you look for it, how you take the decision to go after this situation. According to what? And the last thing is the interaction style. Interaction style is about your responsibility. Are you a person who gets angry easily? Are you a person who has misunderstanding easily? These things are the aspect that we measure your social intelligence upon it. That we have to look for your social skills, your self-insight, your interaction style. But the most hard thing of them is the first one, the social skills. The most difficult part of the social skills is the first part, which is the situation. It's about misunderstanding everything. It's easy to get misunderstanding everything. Why do people always get misunderstanding? They misunderstand what is happening.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe language barriers? I guess if there could be a misunderstanding.
Proper knowledge, due to lack of proper knowledge.
More
Okay.
information gain.
Lack of information. Lack of information. Actually, the most thing that make people misunderstand the situation are the problems or the things that they feel that they miss in their own personality and the amount of faith they have in religion and in God. They are the more cores. Why? Because if I always feeling that I have something missing, I will always feel that you are pointing me. right? And sometimes we can do this practically. What if I was looking to Abdurrahman every time on his chemise, for example, his shirt, and I'm looking for the slaves, and then go back to him? What you would feel after a while?
Why are you looking at me?
Yeah, right?
That's the first
Yeah,
thing.
so strange, huh?
Or mentioning a fault and looking at someone's direction, they're going to think you're talking about them.
Yeah.
Especially if they're insecure. You know, if you say, whatever maybe, I can't think of an example now. But if you look at someone, you know, that's
No,
why
it happened before. Some people they were sitting on the sea, behind the sea, having they were a group of people, and there were a guy sitting alone, and I was sitting watching the situation. The guys were they were laughing so much, and then look at him. They laugh so much, and they look at him. The guy started to look everywhere, you know, like there is something. At the end, he found that they were looking for the boat behind him, because there is something strange in the boat. But what I got from the situation, that he has a problem, that he feels that there is something missing. And when I focused on, I found that there is a difference in the social level. They were very classy people, and he was someone who is normal.
Yeah, like for instance, sometimes I'll get easily distracted, especially when people speak Arabic, because I don't really understand the language fully, so I feel like I don't know
what you are saying.
you think straight away that they're talking about
not really that in particular, but I just feel sort of left out of the understanding.
He's like an outcast.
Yeah, trying to make some exams for people, because I got a teacher before when I was a kid, and she was old woman. She was Irish, and she was speaking Arabic, but we didn't know. And you can imagine kids having lessons from a woman, and she was a hard teacher, and we don't know that she speaks Arabic. And we started to say everything you can imagine. After a while she said, I understand everything. So, what we think always through the last situation, I said, we think always that people want to fake us, because there is something missing in me. But if I have the full confidence about me, I will not care about others. If I have the ability to show people in me. What is meant by this? Once there were someone passing through a beggar in the street.
Yep.
Yeah, and he was blind. So he wrote over a note over the board. Anybody can give me any cent, something like this. And nobody was giving him any money. And he was blind, and he has no way to get any money. Until there is a person saw him, and he saw the situation, and suddenly he didn't give him money. He just sat down and turned the board, and he started to write a new thing. He started to write, what a beautiful day that I hope to see it. But I'm sorry, I cannot. And just he went. After a while, he came back, he found this man, he has a lot of money in front of him. Because he started to express to people the way that they can understand. Whenever I tell me, give me money, the first thing pop up to your mind, no. No, I would not.
Oh, you're asking me from me.
Yes, definitely.
Expand your business.
We are not teaching people how to make business like this.
No, definitely not, because it's a show about life choices, and inshallah we'll be back with more right after this break.
The words of Allah, the Quran, sent to us by the Almighty, so we can hear and obey.
We cannot live our life without the Holy Quran. You must listen carefully to the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because your safety and my safety will be with this great verses of the Holy Quran. We are here in this world for a test, and this test, and you will have questions in the Day of Judgment.
Hear and obey with Sheikh Rifat Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back from that very short break to Life Choices. So today's topic is
Social intelligence.
social intelligence. Thank you very much.
Heavy word.
I just had a blank right there.
Being social, yeah.
And you were, just before the break, you were telling us that story about the man who was
Yes.
begging for money.
The blind. Yes.
Yeah, and the blind man.
Yes, exactly. What we can say behind this story is, it's not a matter what you are saying, it's about how to say it.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to focus and what we want directly tell people about.
Definitely, because I think a lot of times, I mean, how many of us, I mean, I know personally, you've got into trouble or you've, someone's misunderstood you, based on not what you said, but how you said it. You know what I mean? How many times?
I have actually a life example of this.
Please, go ahead, yeah.
I was talking to someone, I won't mention names. But
Muhammad. I don't mention name. Muhammad.
No. And this person was talking and mentioned that they knew everything. So I said this words of wisdom, the minute you think you know everything, this is when you know nothing. It's like a word of wisdom to keep always learning. And I always hear my dad say, the older you get, the older I get, the more I realize I don't know, like a lot of things. I still have so much to learn.
True.
And when I said this thing, like, the minute you think you know everything, you know nothing, this person got so offended and took it so...
and he started to feel that you are offending him.
Yeah.
But you're attacking him based on, what they're saying.
Right.
So maybe you carried yourself... I mean, I don't know, I actually think you passed it off pretty well, actually.
Because right now, not everyone could take the same thing, the man, you told him that. Not everyone could take the same word you could say. There's different approaches.
I guess with someone like that who thinks they know everything, I mean, it's
what we call know-it-all.
Know-it-all. If someone is arrogant, that's arrogance. To think you know everything, that's arrogance. So, to put it bluntly. I guess someone like that, you got to approach it in a way you shouldn't have said that maybe straight away. I'm just trying to think of examples how you could have done this right. If you see that person on a daily basis, maybe drop that word of wisdom at another time.
Yeah.
Maybe they can take heed of it then. Whereas if you said it straight away, the fact that they're already thinking they know everything, they think they know it better than you. So it's not really. I don't think the problem was with how you said it. I think it's just to who you said it to.
Okay.
There were one of the doctor's opinion about something like what he said. He was Dr. Carl, the same person.
Okay,
Doctor
Carl,
I talked about, Carl. Dr. Carl always was saying about the reaction of people in the social intelligence or in the situation or the social skills always depend on two main methods. Something called toxic effect and something called nourishing effect. Toxic effect, this is the effect of disrespecting and not caring and attacking others and that stuff. And the nourishing is responsible for respecting people, being calm, being smiley, being happy, this stuff. He is saying that if we are always recognizing that we have those sectors, we will have the ability to control. Because you know that you have some emotional reactions inside you that you need to control. As long as you see, and if we focused on all the problems that we are talking about, we will find that most of the people, they don't see the problem that they have. The guy you talked about, or the man you talked about, why he felt offended?
No, they felt they knew a lot about that subject.
And he doesn't see that he has a problem.
Right.
He doesn't see that he doesn't know. The one who was blind, why he didn't correct the word himself, if he can? Why? Because he doesn't know that he is not talking to the people in the right way.
Right.
And so on. Everyone you will find a problem with him. You will find that he has no, he doesn't know about his own problem. That's why recognition or your recognizing of the problem is the core of developing it. So from your point of view, guys, I would like to ask you, what we need to do to upgrade our social skills or our social intelligence?
Improve ourselves.
Sorry?
We have to improve ourselves.
How?
To improve our...
That's not the question.
You want to know how?
Okay. I mean, with anything, knowledge, wisdom, self-control, patience. I think all virtuous acts and virtues have an effect in our social life.
I guess you know the best way to get better at something is with practice. You know, as they say,
Practice makes perfect.
practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, the more when it comes to social intelligence, the more you start dealing with people,
Exactly.
Especially interacting with people from different cultures, different races, you know, different classes. You start to learn how to deal more with people. So I mean, talk more and
No, I'm
Yeah.
with
You become more
Yeah.
tolerant.
The
too.
more you get social, the more you socialize with other people, the more you get experience in how to be social.
that's right. And again, by making mistakes, you can learn from the mistakes.
Exactly.
So you're gonna make a mistake. You're
In
bound
the
to.
end,
yeah.
socializing, there's limits. It's not like you could be socialized with other people, because when sometimes someone might mistake what we're saying as in socializing with other people, gangsters, or other people.
yeah.
Socializing it's a big concept. It doesn't mean
no.
you have to. No, you have to choose the people.
Who do you
who-
socialize with? You socialize with females? Of
Yeah,
course not.
exactly.
You know, the females socialize with men. Non-mahram? Of course not.
Unless they're much older. You know.
No, it's
You- you-
what
you-
you choose.
Yeah.
You choose only.
Don't choose a group of gangsters to socialize
Exactly.
with, because that's leading you down the path. And that's also an important point: is who do we choose as friends? Talking about social
So
intelligence.
then I guess that depends on what we want to know and what we want to learn.
But at the end of the day, you have, if you are not going to deal with them, maybe you are not dealing with them, but you are accepting them, and you have the ability to socialize with them.
Yeah.
You have the ability to. There is a big difference. Why? Because I remember Malik ibn Dinar when he used to walk with his student, and one of the drunken people who used to drink alcohols, he went to him, and he hooked on his clothes, and he started to tell him, pray for me, Imam, pray for me. And he was making fun and laughing out of this. He didn't laugh, he didn't get angry. All what he did, he started to move his hand over his shoulder, and he started to say, Allahumma ghfir li wala, Allahumma ghfir li wala. After he went, the student told him, you are praying for a drunken man? Are you kidding? You are praying for this man? He said, my student, my kid, who knows who will end up with the best end? Who knows? So we never judge people. Maybe they have things that are that are wrong things, but at the
Hate
end
the
of
sin, love the sinner.
yeah, exactly. I don't hate you.
Not necessarily love the sin. I hate the sin, not the sinner. But just on that, with if you look at the wisdom behind how he reacted when he put his hand on the man's shoulder, he said, "Allahumma ghfir li wa la," Allahumma, ya God, forgive me, then him, or me and him. He didn't say Allahumma ghfir lah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many times have you heard someone say Allah yahdik? You know what I mean? Oh, here in Egypt, Rabbana yahdik. You know.
And he don't say it like this, Rabbana yahdik, no.
In a sort of as in a condescending way, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful dua. Allah yahdik. Amin. You know what I mean? That's the proper response to it. Is if someone tells you that.
But how
Amin.
you're saying it, that's a problem.
But sometimes it's how you say it to the person. Again, it's not what you say. It's how you say it. So the fact that when it was Malik, you said.
Malik ibn Dinar.
Malik ibn Dinar. When he said to the man, Allah forgive me and you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Not just forgive you, because we've all got fault. We've all got sins.
Yes. I remember one of the shuyukh was talking about accepting people. So he said, for example, if someone who has a problem with his feet and it has a bad smell, and he went to pray in masjid, we know that it's better to clean his feet because إن الملائكة تتأذى. So it's better to go in appropriate way, but it happened. And you prayed and you put your nose in the place that he used to put his feet.
I've experienced this many times.
Yeah. So you would feel it's bad, right? But would you accept it? The Sheikh asked it on that point. Would you accept it? Especially, what would you do if the person came back to you and he said, I know that I have a bad smell in my feet, so I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? The Sheikh asked it. Are you going to really forgive him? Or you are going to be, Jazakallahu khair.
This makes me think of something that happened actually recently to me. I was praying in a masjid, and sometimes it gets really tight, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
when you're in congregation.
Especially in Jumu'ah.
And like the design on the the carpet in the masjid was like, so each person had, you know, their specific, you know, place to stand. And he was like coming into mine, and I'm like a orderly guy, so I want to like stay in the order.
In the middle of.
But anyways, I compromised, and I just like sort of put my feet closer together. And during the prayer, he kept like hitting me with his leg. I don't know if it was on purpose, but I was thinking to myself, like, why is this guy doing this in the prayer? And when I was making sujood, I sneezed like 3 times. And after the prayer, I'm thinking, like, having this like bad feeling about this prayer because I lost focus because of this guy. And immediately after the prayer, he hands me a tissue and, you know, to blow my nose and stuff. I said, SubhanAllah, this guy is actually really good.
He interrupted my prayer, made me lose khushu', but he gave me a tissue in the end. So
yeah, I mean, he was considerate, and maybe he wasn't doing that on purpose. Is what I realized at the end when I thought his intentions were bad, but maybe.
That's another thing. I mean, is judging people on their intentions.
Right.
We shouldn't, you know, like assuming.
Exactly.
You know, you've seen what someone, you know, had shaqaqta an qalbi, you know, like have you seen what's in his heart?
Yeah.
You don't know
Allah
what's
knows.
the reason behind it. You know, it could have been an accident. He could have done it intentionally.
Yeah.
But you know, as Muslims, we should, I think, make excuses.
Yes.
There's a saying, you know, make 70 excuses for your brother.
Yes.
He might did it for something. He might did it because of that, like that.
Yeah, he could have a twitch in his leg. It's a medical condition.
Yes.
You know,
Exactly.
Allah alam what it could be. But you know, we should definitely try to make excuses. Brothers, Jazakallah khair, it's that time again where we have to wrap up the show because we've run out of time. It has been fast. Brother Adam, thank you so much for your input.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Abdul Rahman, Jazakallah khair. And Brother Kareem, thank you so much. And viewers, thank you so much for watching us. You can also check us out on YouTube on the Huda TV channel. Until next week's episode, I've been Muhammad Amran on Life Choices. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Chances, dreams and goals, many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man. Choices, chances, dreams and goals, many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man.